Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. It is Friday. Happy Friday, the 14th of October. This is our weekly recap. Goes out to everybody on social media, my email list, as well as all my members. If you want to join us, there's a link in the description below. Please follow me on YouTube as well, by the way. Come over to smartoptiontrading.com, click on live trading alerts, $25 for the first 30 days. And then you can cancel anytime. So let's talk about this week. And nothing's been easy about this week. So we started off last Friday. We had that big down move. On Monday, we got a little bit of follow through. Guam, have a good night. Tuesday, a little bit more, but it was not easy. It was mostly very choppy. Wednesday, we had a very, very tight range candle. You look at the size of this candle on the SPY, right? 356 to 359, a $3 range. Basically, you don't get that. CPI came in hot. We dropped like a rock pre-market on Thursday, and then we had one of the biggest reversals we've had, from down 2% to up 3%, and we completely engulfed the candles here and closed above the 8-day. This morning, we had the banks' earnings were better than expected there. We had retail sales were not so good. Consumer sentiment was strong, which is inflationary. And we popped up. We just missed kissing the 21-day here, and we roll back over. You can see the 21 days what's been holding this market down. And now we've given back about half of yesterday's candle. Is this the end of the world? Not yet. Why isn't it the end of the world yet? Well, because when you go back and you look at what's going on from this year, and here's your high, and you look at some of the other big reversal candles like this one, this was a big move up. We went down 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days before we took off and got highs. This one we got follow through. This one we got follow through in a nice move right away, right? You can kind of look around down in here. A lot of these times we've chopped around. Here's your next day down. So it's not the end of the world, but it's not good. Let's talk about what yesterday was. What happened yesterday? Yesterday, very, very simply, when you look at here on a 5-minute chart on the SPY, you can see very, very clearly what happened here. They caught everybody short. And people were loading up short, and they were heavily shorting the market. In the opening yesterday, we had massive amounts of puts coming in, and they started pushing the market up, and it was very tough. There was no easy trades in here. And then all of a sudden, we had a 35-minute explosion to the upside where they caught people short, and you had buyers stepping in and shorts covering like mad. We had some great trades in here. The call of the century was yesterday. We called the SPX daily 2,600 calls down here at 50 cents. They end up hitting 87 up here. Nobody held them to 87. Nobody traded them that much, but just the idea that it was just one of those great calls here. And, we'll see. But you had this big 35-minute move, dipped, gave another push, dipped, gave another push, and held in. So where we go from here next week, we have big earnings next week. And the big thing important to remember here is 4 of the big 6 banks reported already. We get Bank of America and Goldman Sachs next week. We get a look at metals with names like FCX and Alcoa and Nucor. We get rails like CSX are in there. We get big pharma like JP Morgan and some others are in there. We get some tech with Netflix and Tesla and IBM. So we're going to get a nice broad look at the market next week, and that might be what we're looking at. The good news is not a lot of data coming at us next week. The bad news is the Fed will still be speaking. But at this point, to me, the Fed is just nothing going on. The other thing to do is to start looking at charts, and we've been looking at here and saying, well, what looks better? Tesla, by the way, just put a 52-week low in. It does not matter whether you love Musk or hate Musk. There's a lot of noise around Tesla and him right now between Ukraine and Twitter and everything, making this a very tough name to trade. Eventually, at some point, this will turn because it's just too good of a name, and maybe that'll be on Thursday. Is it Wednesday? I think Wednesday they report earnings. It's Wednesday or Thursday, I forget which. I think it's Wednesday. We'll keep an eye on that. All right, we'll keep an eye on Tesla for that. Apple, trying to hold in, still holding above a 52-week low, still not looking great, but still one of the stronger names out there. Amazon continues to be a stronger name as well, still holding in, still trying to hold in better. The banks today, there was nothing bad about the banks. JP Morgan, big day yesterday, pushed up, held in. Same thing as with Wells Fargo. There was good earnings here. Citigroup was even better than I expected. Morgan Stanley, which has been the best bank reporting out there for a year plus, was the worst of them, and they're down. So it just shows you how things change. The semis getting beaten to a pulp. We saw big buying today in the SOXL October 8 calls. That's for next week. There was 30 something thousand of them last I looked. I haven't looked in a while. They're getting beaten to hell. The reason I didn't touch these or think about it because, well, the semis are weak. Until we can get a bottom on the semis, this is a tough sector. That said, these things can have big bounces in these downtrends. NVIDIA here put a new low in yesterday. Look at AMD all the way down to 54 yesterday. So, this is a great time to be really working on your shopping list. Is this market going to rally from here? Maybe. I'm not going to sit here and say today was a good day. I'm also not going to sit here today and say today was a horrible day. We're holding a 50% retracement on yesterday's candle. And if we hold that into the close, I'll remain somewhat bullish on this market if earnings continue to come in as good as the banks did. Charts on Sunday. Everybody have a great weekend. Link in the description below if you want to join us, and I'll catch you guys in the room bright and early on Monday morning.